Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to General Geekery as JD and I go through the G.I. Joe Real American Hero line 1982 to 1994. We'll pick our top figures for every year, along with our favorite figures for each year. We will also pick a couple of hidden gems here and there that he and I might have missed the first time around, but later found out just how cool they really were. And this year is 1991. Also, some fantastic figures this year. It hadn't really started to go off the rails quite yet, but there were still a few weird ones out there. So, get your list together of figures that were made in 1991, pick your top favorite figures, and see if yours match ours. And here we go with 1991.
So 91, I think, was probably one of my last years as collecting Joes, because I graduated high school in 91. So give me your top one there.
Lowlight
Ooh,
version 3
yeah, absolutely.
is my favorite figure in the vintage, in the O-ring style line. That is all the way from the beginning, all the way into all those repaints they did years ago. I love Lowlight version 3. I don't care that it doesn't look like it's supposed to be Lowlight. I don't care that he doesn't look like version 1.
I always just imagine that he used like camo paint to get like grease his hair black. So
yes. I always figured it was some kind of mission specific thing, and that's why it didn't bother me. I like the camo on his face.
Yes.
But I liked when I got this figure, it had such a mystique about it. It was interesting. It was layered. It looked, the original Lowlight I thought was cool on the cartoon, but I never felt like the figure matched it.
Yeah.
I never felt like the figure captured the essence of the Lowlight that we saw portrayed by by Charlie Adler in the show. And so I always lamented that the figure couldn't capture that. So even though Lowlight version 3 doesn't really look like Lowlight as some people think it should, it finally had the same mystique about that character that the cartoon portrayal did. So I don't have a problem with it, because I can see that version of Lowlight in those colors with that gear on.
Yeah.
I can see him with that personality.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, that's a good pick. That's one of my favorite figures from that year as well. It was not one I was going to pick, but
I know where you're going.
No, I bet you don't. Say it. See what you're gonna say.
Well, now you have me second guessing. I'm thinking. Well, I was gonna guess either Dusty or Big Ben, but maybe not.
Crimson Guard Immortal. I always thought the Crimson Guard thing was pretty cool, because it's doctors, it's lawyers that are ingrained into the community, that they've molded their way into the infrastructure, so that when Cobra does decide to take over, all of a sudden they've got control of everything, all of the white collar stuff.
Right.
I thought that was I thought that was always a good idea, and then the Crimson Guard Immortal, these are the like consummate badass. I loved the armor. I loved the weapons. I don't remember the file card too much.
The file card, it does say that they're lawyers. I'm pretty sure. But
yes,
I always thought I thought when the Crimson Guard Immortal came along, I thought it was a battlefield. I didn't see it so much as a separate unit in the Crimson Guard. I saw it as if the original Crimson Guard, I always thought they looked too ceremonial, like Dress Blues Gung Ho,
Sure.
and
Yeah, I can see that.
I thought the Crimson Guard Immortal, that was their battlefield uniform. So I saw them less as a separate thing and more of an extension of what, or yeah. So good
Ceremonial
choice.
versus combat. Yeah. So that's my first pick is the Crimson Guard Immortal. Give me your second one.
Um, Desert Scorpion.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. That's another one that I've like recently I found a couple years ago and did a custom, which sucked, but I might have to revisit it. Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
I have, well, let's start with the fact that I always saw him as an individual. I still see him as an individual,
I thought he
even though
was.
I think he was intended to be a trooper because, like, if you look at the Neat cartoon, they do deploy him in units like all the other troopers, but the file card is
Yeah.
is slightly ambiguous on their trooper status, but I always just thought he looked so cool. He had the red goggles. He had the fully he had the fully enclosed face. He had uh the fabric flap on the back.
Yes.
I thought he looked awesome.
The backpack
I always
was
thought,
fantastic with the Gatling gun and the missile.
oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And
And
I
he had
like this.
weapons on his wrist.
Yeah, I, 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 I felt like he was a badass, um, like desert operator, like GI Joe had for years with Dusty,
Yeah.
and there was a bonus because there was a new version of Dusty that year that I liked better than the original. That I suddenly had the two to kick each other's asses. Unfortunately, I have the Desert Scorpion figure all that long because a kid who lived in the house 2 doors from me, he stole it. I don't have any
Oh,
proof, but I know he had to have because he had been admiring it since I got it. And one day it was over here, and later on I went to go find my toys after you went home. Desert Scorpion was gone. It is entirely possible that Desert Scorpion disappeared outside somewhere in the bushes when we were playing, or he stole it.
oh,
Steven, I'm pretty sure you stole it. He would never admit to it, and I never confronted him on it because I suck at confronting people even now. Um, I will call people on their bullshit if they are asking for it. Like if I'm defending somebody, I will. But when it comes to outright just challenging somebody to on something like a personal issue, no, I won't. So pretty sure he stole it, but I got a new one a few years ago and then made a custom counterpart that just made him different. But Desert Scorpion's awesome.
yeah, absolutely. I have to agree with you on that one. Let's see, my top second one. Yeah, you got it the first time. Big Ben. I'm a huge,
Is a bad. I
huge
didn't.
special forces fan. The SAS are, you know, are the British equivalent, and
I
they're
love that figure. I love that character, but I would not. I did not consider naming him because I wanted you to have that honor. He's great, but there's he was magical. I
and
loved him when I
he
was a
was
kid.
one of the
Still do.
last figures that I remember getting because yeah, I graduated high school that year, and Big Ben is like, I think he may have been the last Joe that I bought as a kid.
Well, that was a high note to go out on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure he was the last one. He had that cool machine gun. He had the probably one of the best backpacks ever.
It was huge.
Yeah,
Um,
the satchel with the grenades, uh, the hat, everything about that figure worked.
I think I gave his big backpack to Tunnel Rat because I no longer had Tunnel Rat's big clunky backpack and he needed one. So whatever. Yeah, Big Ben's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I just made a custom of him recently, and I was really happy with how that turned out. All right, so give me your weak link there, because this is the year that it for me it also started to kind of go off the rails.
Um, I'm going with the incinerator simply because while I think the sculpt is really great and they look like big, beefy, like they look like massive, cute, like he could have been awesome.
Yeah.
But then that helmet is.
I love that helmet.
No, I think the design is cool, but I think it looks weird on top of the rest of the suit. And I felt like.
Yeah, that suit's got a weird texture to it.
Yeah. Like it's got the patterned arms and legs, and I always felt like that was supposed to be some kind of mesh, but they didn't. They're big, like the sculpt is big and imposing, and I feel like if they'd given it a different head, that maybe they could have used it as new Cobra Trooper, like, kind of like a brute force type guy, or maybe just the helmet was weird, and to restrict a sculpt, like I said, as imposing looking as those guys are, to just make them flamethrowers,
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
I
thought the gimmick thing that he came with was kind of interesting, though.
That was cool. I think I had that figure because I think I wanted the catapult. Yeah. So.
All right. Let's see my wink link here. I probably normally would have gone with Tracker, but I think the rubber boat saves it for him as an accessory. So I'm going to go with version 2 Snow Serpent. I absolutely hate that color scheme. I think I don't like the sculpt. I think the color scheme is just one of the shittiest color schemes. I mean, it makes some of the Battle Corps stuff look plausible to me.
Yeah.
However, I will counter that by saying that I've recently seen somebody that I don't know why I never thought to do this. They had taken the version 2 Snow Serpent and painted it in version 1 colors, and it looks amazing.
Yeah. That's a case where I kind of like the figure when I was a kid. I don't so much care for it now. The sculpt and everything is.
Yeah, the sculpt is weird.
The head sculpt, the head sculpt, the goggles, it's kind of weird. I liked it more earlier in life, but
I think the snowboard is what really sold that figure.
I like the snowboard. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I got that figure for the snowboard.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I gave it to a Cobra that I liked more.
Yeah. But yeah, I've recently seen somebody that painted one of those. Might have been Black Major. I don't know. That painted it in the V1 color scheme, and it works. It like flips this switch in your brain that like maybe that sculpt isn't so bad.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it actually works pretty well. So my weak link there is definitely Snow Serpent version 2. Give me your gem.
I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna have to go with the
kind of tough. There's some really interesting figures this year.
Yeah, there really are. And I'm trying not to cheat and find a way to throw in there 2, even though I could.
I mean, I honestly, I would almost throw in the whole Air Commandos line.
Okay, you just called it for me. That's exactly what I was trying to decide. Because the thing is, even though Spirit is an amazing update to a character that needed a new update, because again, I like the Slaughter's Marauders version, but he finally had a new sculpt that was all his, and there's no doubt it was Spirit. But I wish that he'd been carded outside of the air, but that's because I think I like the Air Command. They're a cool unit, but I don't like any of those figures enough to decide they're a favorite on their own. But I like the unit.
Yeah, no,
So
I love the sculpt on all of those figures. The color schemes
yeah,
are a little kind of weird, but even the weird ones still look nice.
well, Skymate has a shitload of detail that unfortunately, because he's an obscure character, the figure's often overlooked. But he's got all kinds of cool stuff going on. Um,
Plus, he's got
I
that
had
boomerang.
yes, he's got a boomerang, and he's got he's got the compound bow. He's got
Yes,
all the arrows in a quiver strapped to his leg. He's
I'm
full of
with
cool
that.
details. But um, and yeah, that was Cloudburst.
Yeah.
Um, see, for me, Cloudburst shared a name with an Autobot Pretender.
Ah,
So I always thought that he was the Autobot Pretender, but he was on the Joe team. Um, and like he was sent as some kind of scout and the Pentagon hired him, but they were keeping it under wraps that there were robots out there. Larry Hama did a thing later where he made a crossover that I thought it became okay, but yeah, I
yeah.
couldn't separate Cloudburst from
The
the
transform.
code name.
No.
So yeah,
Well, I think that's a good choice. Is the Air Commandos for the whole friggin' line.
Night Vulture was so cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, for mine, I'm going to go with the version 2 Toxo Viper. I wanted to like Toxo Viper as a kid, but I hated the color scheme, and
Me too. I like
it
the idea. I didn't like the figures. I didn't like the colors. I didn't like the sculpt. I didn't like the helmet.
yeah,
I felt like the Toxo Vipers finally came along. The Toxo version 2, I felt the same way. I thought, oh, now this is a cool Toxo Viper.
yeah. I think they
But
nailed the concept with the version 2 Toxo Viper. So I'm going to say that's my hidden gem. There is the Toxo Viper finally became what it should be. As a close second, I would say the Sonic Falcon because I like that color scheme.
the Urban Camo,
Yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah, I like that figure. I like the Supersonic Fighters. I like that rock and roll. I like that Psych Out.
yeah,
Even though I never really felt like it was Psych Out. Yeah, he was cool. The Supersonic Fighters were cool. I really like that Major Blood that came out. I kind of almost named him as a hidden gem,
yeah. I was
but
just looking at that.
yeah, he's really cool. I always liked that version of Major Blood.
I don't like the color scheme, but the sculpt is pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't mind the color scheme when I was a kid when I first got it. You know, I was 11.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of it now. I like their later repaint they did back in 2000, where they put him in the brown and black. In that, yeah, so that's cool.
yeah. I don't remember that figure, but I'm gonna have to. I
That's what
actually, you know what? I
Yojo
think
is
I do.
for.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I do remember that. Yeah. No, I did like that. The one with all the grenades on it. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
So that is 91.
And there you go. That's 1991 for you. What'd you think of the figures that we picked? And what'd you think of the ones that we did not like? Did you agree with those? More importantly, which ones did you pick? Sound off in the comments below as to which were your favorites, which were your least favorites, and maybe throw in a couple figures that we might have overlooked in this episode. Also, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those fun social media things. And stay tuned because 1992 is next.